All right, everyone, welcome back for another episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Friday, September 20th, 2024. If you're not done so already, please give the video a thumbs up. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts, analysis, and live day trading. Anyways, let's get into it today. So markets here today, finishing up everybody's favorite holiday, which is Opex here for the month of September. It's a quarterly. And probably a good opportunity right now to kind of review a little bit here. I know everybody wants to push hard and everybody's always eager, which is natural, to make gains and portfolio gains. But a lot of the time, you're actually going to be counterproductive when you're trading in a market that is not conducive for any sort of quality setup, right? Right now, Opex, right? So what does it take? 100 billion to move the market in a given day? Well, today we have $5.3 trillion expiring on the spiders. The market's not going to move, right? You're not going to unpin that, and you're not going to force the market to do something. Or, you can try to force whatever you like to force, but the market's not going to go with you. You got to trade the market that we have, not the one that we want. And today's a prime example of that. Very low liquidity, very low chop. There were some opportunities. We actually got a scalp off in the trading room this morning, which took all day long. But not all day, but most of the morning. But again, even that, if this is a play that would have taken probably 10 minutes normally. But in this tape, very tough. You got to be selective. We did also call out the low of the day on SMH. There was a put wall at 235. Low of the day was, I think, 234.96. So there are opportunities, but you got to be selective and, don't want to be trading too much in the afternoon. Look at the whipsaw, like on Apple. This was a scalp of ours yesterday at 230. And I said, we're probably not going to close above that for Friday. You can see an Amazon here looking at the last couple of minutes, having that big pop. So not make too much out of this action here. The bottom line is, though, new all-time high, new all-time closing high on the weekly, right? So yesterday we had the new all-time high, and we followed through there on the weekly time frame. And there's really no problem with the market right now. You can talk about seasonality. We are coming into the last 2 weeks of September, which are pretty poor historically. And that is kind of, I talked about this at the beginning of the month when we sold off. I said, it feels like these traders are front running that seasonality, but don't they know it comes after the back 2 weeks? And of course, they all probably went short here, and that's what gave us that huge squeeze. But either way, we could see some weakness. Obviously, market has had a nice rally from last Wednesday, 5,400 to 57. It's not too bad. So we could see that. But, pullbacks on what? Light volume are just pullbacks. So we have to see volume, and you got to see a rejection. And by volume, I mean, 100 million shares, or at least 90. Like, that's the minimum I'll accept. But you want to see that with, a break back below. I'll just put SPX back on because I got the lines drawn. But back below the previous high, maybe even below like 56.50. We break below that on heavy volume and close below it. Okay, now we can talk about there being a top in. But until then, trend is up. Moving averages are separated nicely. We just closed at fresh highs. Yes, the Qs are lagging, but they're catching up now. Right, they are starting to catch up. Yesterday, the semiconductors definitely outperformed. Defensives underperformed. I think XLU came right back today. Yeah, XLU came right back today. XLV was down. But if semiconductors continue to see that rotation, and some of these other, like, let's just call them interest rate sensitive sectors, like, I just can use ARC, for instance. This has had a nice run here lately. We've got my favorite. By the way, go vote in the poll. It's on my Twitter feed. And I'm sorry, I gotta diverge here for a second. So we're doing a new experiment here for fun. Go vote in my poll here. Which happens first? Carvana reaches double top, or the U.S. officially enters a recession. So officially meaning the government acknowledges it, just so everybody's clear on that. And by double top, I mean that double top. We got 1.82% closer today, so that leaves us, I think, 247% to go. But anyway, before we get too sidetracked here on my little pet project, we got GDP numbers next week too. But yeah, these interest rate sensitive stocks, seeing rotation, defensive's out, you know, Qs can catch up. Moreover, again, just, you know, just simplify it, right? Just take a trend line here and, you know, look what we did. Does that look like a bearish chart? Is it lagging? Yeah, but you got to, yeah, I mean, you can make a case you're both lagging here. You just back check to the 50. So there's really no problems here with the market. I say all that to say that, right? There's no problems with the market until, for me, you got to get high volume selling and losing support. Additionally, the IWM here, down a little bit today. Again, we talked about 225 being resistance in the short term, but I'm telling you, Tom Lee's gonna, that's my guy, I guess. But big outside move on volume. 1, 2 inside test candles, basically testing the low of the previous. This is a monthly chart, right? But these aren't bearish. You know, this weekly, the trend is starting to strengthen too. If this can consolidate a little bit longer, I mean, this can, you know, push up into the end of the year potentially. So again, we can talk about, oh, 50 basis points is bearish, it's going to bring inflation back, or it's not fast enough, or whatever we want to debate about. But until the charts tell us to do something, you got to defer to the trend here. So that's the important thing to remember. Dow here was up, by the way, Dow was up 10 basis points. It's showing it's down, and it's showing the spiders were down more, but they weren't. It was an ex-dividend, just so you know. But Dow here, again, new all-time high, new all-time weekly closing high. Let's look at equal weight. New all-time high, new all-time weekly closing high. This was everybody's, the bears were telling us that the market was going to crash over the summer because equal weight wasn't keeping up. It's catching up. Actually, it's already caught up. It's, you know, outperformed. So that's no longer valid. And QQQ, equal weight. Not that far off either. This actually looks better than QQQ. So SMH, again, we mentioned a minute ago, but down 1.3 today. I said 245 would probably be max move, and we got up there yesterday, and we're, you know, down today. This all can change, and all that premium rolls off now, so the market will be a little bit freer here going into next week. I like that it was able to close back above the 20. I would have liked it to have held the 50, but again, it's Opex, so there's some pinning going on. We'll give it the benefit of the doubt until Monday. This is your big level, though. If you can get through 250, that certainly changes things. But, you know, we closed above that trend line there on the weekly. By the way, M&A news, I guess Intel was reportedly approached by Qualcomm. I joked about this with, I think, members a week ago, but I was like, I wonder how much cash NVIDIA needs to pick up Intel or Broadcom. But I guess Qualcomm already jumping on that, potentially. Just a rumor, I guess. But anyways, and semiconductors, a lot better here. IGV up a penny. New all-time high, new all-time weekly closing high. So my favorite pet ETF, as you guys know. Software. And hey, like I said, if the semiconductor, I said this back in the summer, you know, if the semiconductors back off, which I think they will, and I still bullish the market, some tech sector needs to catch up then, right? I said probably IGV. Speaking of tech sector, XBI, you know, big fat ascending triangle here. Weekly, kind of bull pattern look inside of that too. That could also catch up too. This is interest rate sensitive as well. But Dow Transport's your big outside move. FedEx, obviously, the culprit there. The market always, I don't know why, but the market always misprices FedEx and UPS into earnings. Look at these gaps. It happens every time. It's like every quarter they screw it up. The options market just doesn't know what to do with these. I'd say maybe FedEx here at this trend line. It's already hit a bunch of times, though. So maybe you could catch a bid at 250 on Monday. But I don't know, it's a tough sell. The transports, though, we probably figured we're going to pull back, though, because we talked about it the last couple of days. This 16,200 area just keeps hitting it. And every time it hits it, it comes back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 now. We are now, well, we're still finished green for the week. But again, zooming out, looks like a bearish, big, bad daily candle. But again, weekly, it's just a big, fat ascending triangle. So ugly day today, but we'll see if that can firm up over the coming weeks. Don't forget to vote in the Carnivore poll. All All right, 2-year yield here, finishing green. All yields finished fractionally higher. They were up a lot more, but I think Fed Pres Harker came out and it was like 11 o'clock. He was talking and he just jawboned. He took a victory lap on inflation, I think, and you saw yields kind of come back in pretty sharply. But they still finished up here, and 10-year did something very important today, and that is that it closed back above 3.7 on the weekly. So you've got a probe below, right? We like probe below that level, and then we reversed. 30-year closed above the previous week's high as well, same looking candle. So obviously the short end, is weaker, which makes sense, but I've been in that long end camp for a minute, and it's continuing to shape up. So next area here, probably looking at like 4.2 on the 30s. We could also draw a trend line here as well. Could be a level before that. You get the 50 MA up there, and there's the 10s as well, 3.9 we'll say, and then 4. If you get through 4, I think we can go to 4.2, and that's going to make a lot of people's heads explode. But we'll see. XHB down 2.25, but it's still a new all-time high and closing high, so a little extended here in the short term. VNQ again backing off, but really, I gotta say, it's not rejecting that hard. I mean, it hit the 618 perfectly, but it's not like it's getting whacked, like breaking the moving averages, and it's still okay. We'll see next week. Maybe it pulls back more, but it's still holding trend. So nothing wrong. XLF as well, just off all-time highs, down 3 cents today. Big whoop. I still don't really love JPM though. I'd say if you can get back above, reclaim the 20 MA, and subsequently if you get above 218.64, then it's fine. But and the trend is still up nicely, but that wide range candle, if that gets negated, I'll change my mind, but definitely not as enthused about that right now. ARE down today, it's still having a good bounce back here. It's off 52-week highs, as is KBE. And broker-dealers fractionally lower here today, but still in a runaway uptrend. Oil just won't go down. So it just keeps continuing to grind higher. I think, let's check the X. Also, it was red that one day. So we had a one-day pullback off the 20 MA. That's it. Usually when you go down like that sharply, the first hit of the 20 will give you some sort of pullback. Even if it's strong, it'll maybe pull back like to here, or maybe a 382 fib or something, and then it will go up. Got a one-day pullback. That's it. Go back above 71 on the weekly. Definitely shaping up. I think it's got a date with this trend line here. So oil definitely having a good week, and too many. I warned you about this. There's too many people shorting oil right in front of the FOMC when we know a rate cut's priced in. I mean, that's the genius. Bond traders and macro traders. All right, XLE down 20 cents. Again, good bounce. This needs to consolidate this move though, but I like how it came off the lows. I like the weekly too. I like that big candle there, and then it popped back above support. So it definitely looks a little bit better here. Need to see some more out of that. Need to see more out of XOP and OH. Some consolidation here or a higher low, I think could maybe get a little attractive. CCJ up on big news. We got a W now. So they had, I'm not even sure what, I know they had news. Was it just the Constellation? Yeah. That's what it was. So either way, big, we talked about this. It was trying. Didn't quite do a V per se, but you got a bull flag. But you got your W bottom there. Let me see, 44. So just missed this red bar high by 4 pennies. I would have liked to close above that, but that's okay. I mean, the volume was good today. That's a good pattern. That's definitely firmed up nicely. URNM, I like the reclaim of the 50 MA, but a little bit softer, right? You have the lower high there. So CCJ obviously doing the best, and URNJ got above the 50 MA. So again, same thing, the lower high, but definitely a good shot in the arm for the uranium sector. Moving on to nat gas, they just keep buying dips in this. So again, I think that'll continue. Dip yesterday looked like it was going to break down. Dip this morning, V shape. Weekly close above 240. It's going to 250 next, and then after that, what, 270? Because you didn't build any resistance on the way down. You just short. This is just short sellers. So there's no, once you get through 250, there's no backstop. So this can squeeze. Typically, that's kind of what it does into the fall months, as I've been repeating over and over. Also, W bottom. The X contract, I will say, looks a little bit weaker, but it did firm up a lot today. A lot. So 5.16 gain, I think. How much was V up? 4.13. So it definitely gained. Very nice. So this looks a lot better here when we roll to that. So nat gas acting much better. Dollar index was flat to positive. But the bigger picture for me is I like how you probed the 200 MA, you probed the lows, and then you close back above. Even though you close red on the week, that's a positive. I'll take that as a win when the Fed cut by 50 basis points instead of 25. Everyone's favorite, dollar yen. Again, beautiful setup there. And the BOJ said mission accomplished on inflation, essentially. So, obviously the yen went down. Gold up to all-time highs with the dollar kind of flat to positive. I don't know if this is just kind of was just bidding up for through Opex. I think we have a contract roll coming up very shortly, so it might even bid up into that. I don't have next level. I'm just saying 2650 to 57. I had that written down, calculated a while ago. I'm not even sure how I got to that number. I think it was during it was before this contract rolled, so I think it got messed up a little bit. But that's kind of what we basically got there today. It was 2651. So after that, I think I said 2690. That's the next stop. I just crunched those numbers like kind of quickly not that long ago, or like a few hours ago. But yeah, new all-time high, new all-time closing high. So I still think it's a little, maybe overdone here. I wouldn't chase it. I wouldn't short it though. Again, kind of like the S&P. If we see a candle like this with the volume, or a candle like that with the volume, then it's done for a little while. But until then, it's overbought. Yeah, but like look at the monthly. You based for 13 years, it's gonna go up. It like daily overbought. Monthly, it's just on breakout, right? It's not even really overbought yet. It's just releasing this energy. So silver not following. So I think silver is not quite ready. It's got to work through this supply up here. Needs to do a little bit more consolidation, I think. And before I forget, GDX did not make a new high today, but it made a new weekly closing high going back to like a couple of years. And then SIL also not at new highs, just for reference. Platinum down, that needs to do more consolidation. Palladium down, that needs to do more consolidation, but I think the lows are in. And then copper backing off. So is the bear flag working? Is it a bear flag? We'll see. When you get through that, you get above like 443, 445. That's definitely going to negate that. But right now, it's still in that channel. All right, Bitcoin, it's fine. So we went up into this area. We knew this was resistance and it stalled. So just a doji candle today. This can still pull back and stay inside of this channel all at once. And it's still just a big weekly consolidation pattern. If you get above this area here, I think it's on breakout. So we'll see. It may have a little bit more consolidation, might have one more dip, but I think that it is getting ready here. But flattish today. So again, spiders here, new all-time weekly closing high. No reason to fight the tape right now. Again, until we get high volume selling. But, you know, we are going into a seasonally very weak period. Why? Because all of that premium is going to roll off. It's not going to be pinning us to the pinning the market as much. And you can see some natural flows kind of come in. But again, need to see actual sellers come in to this tape. Otherwise, it's just a pullback on light volume. So anyways, guys, going to wrap it up here. Again, you guys take care. Have a great weekend. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com. See you guys all next week.